Hey guys, going to have a Wednesday webinar today. Today we're going to do module number 3, and we'll go over just we're going to focus a little bit more on trying to find the right diet for everybody. A lot of the diets that are out there. We'll cover a little bit more in more information over the vegetarian diet, benefits of being a vegetarian today, and we'll cover some the 3 top psychological activities you can do to improve mindset and kind of well-being. We'll talk a little bit about that today as well. So again, one of the things we studied at the Institute was we studied over 100 different dietary theories. And so, as I'm sure all of you guys know, there is so many variations on diets and what's the right diet for everybody. And I read hundreds and hundreds of articles and diet books and podcasts and just articles on different kinds of diets. And really it's important that, again, we recognize what we do here at Sun Valley Medical Weight Loss is we utilize the HCG protocol that we use, or the HCG keto protocol, as a tool. And what it's meant for is, again, to lose a lot of weight in a short amount of time. But neither of these approaches are sustainable for a lifetime. And so what we want to include in this is some basic education about nutrition so that we can take that information and transition into a healthier diet moving forward. And like we've talked in other webinars, is that everybody's different, right? There's some people that will do really well on a vegetarian diet. Some people will do really well on a carnivore diet. Some people will do well on a ketogenic diet, on a plant-based diet, a vegan diet, vegetarian diet, a paleo, a primal. There are all of these different camps within the nutritional scope. And nutrition in a lot of ways is like religion, right? There's all these different religions. Everybody believes different variations of what they consider the truth. And people get very defensive, very attached to a particular nutrition philosophy. And the reason is that it probably works really well for them, and they've seen benefits, they've seen pluses by adhering to those principles. Because in all of the diets, a lot of times there's some basic principles that follow a common thread throughout all of them. Eating whole foods, eating earth-grown nutrients, eating maintenance calorie levels or below, calorie balance, right? Eating healthy, non-processed foods, avoiding what's known as the standard American diet. Any of these improvements that tend to be a common thread will help move someone's health in the right direction, for sure. So there are a lot of common themes, but again, as participants in this program and as CEOs of your own lives, it's important that you recognize, what works well for you as an individual, and that you incorporate that moving forward, because every one of us is going to be different. Each one of the clients I have that go through the program are different, and they're going to respond differently to different foods. My wife and I, again, we respond differently to different foods. Part of that's our genetic background. Part of it's our lifestyle factors. Part of it's just, again, what works well for us, men are a little different than women. And so there's so many varying factors that even within the same household, within the same family, there could be different eating strategies that work well for one and uh, cannot work well for another. The main thing is that you as an individual find those things that work well for you. And so, again, at the Institute, we went through a bunch of different dietary theories. There's diet books that date all the way back, anywhere from the cabbage soup diet, Atkins diet, which is funny because they put it with here with a bowl of bread, which is the absolute opposite of the Atkins diet. Abs diet, ice cream diet, peanut butter diet, ultra metabolism, the flavor point diet, the biochemically individuality diet, 20-day revolution, 40-day to power, wine and food lovers, again, 8 minutes in the morning, 1 minute wellness, fast track detox, 2-day diet, paleo diet, the primal diet, the vegan diet, the vegetarian diet, the ketogenic diet, the HCG diet, right? There's all of these different dietary theories. And so again, there's basic guidelines, basic principles, but finding out what works well for you is the most important. So in this slide, we'll just kind of go through that, like how can someone find the perfect diet? Some people focus on being very careful about eating, while some have a more relaxed attitude towards food. Some people are healthy eating animal food, while others thrive on a vegetarian or vegan diet. Which is correct, right? Again, it goes back to which is correct for you. Right? It is difficult to find substantive nutrition information. Best-selling diet books often disagree with each other. The more extreme the diet, the more copies it tends to sell. Who would you rely on for solid nutrition advice? Human beings, like every species, know that what they eat changes everything. Over time, people experimented, made mistakes, and slowly have started to realize the diets don't work, right? That, again, they're not meant to be sustainable lifestyles. You can't tell people what kind of relationship to be in or what kind of movies or music they're going to enjoy. Why is it acceptable to tell people what kind of foods they should be eating? Again, everybody's different. Foods must be about the individual, not about the theory. One person's food is another person's poison. Understand what food you're attracted to and why. We are an intelligent nation, but we've outsmarted our own eating and intuition. The last place we look to determine what to eat is inside our heart. Again, listening to our own bodies, listening to ourselves, and instead of listening to propaganda or commercials or those kind of outside sources that tell us what we should or shouldn't be doing. You don't have to tell a cow what to eat. You don't have to tell an elk what they should be eating. You don't have to tell the rabbit what foods they should eat. They instinctively know these things. And in a lot of ways, we as human beings are the same if we just listen to what we know to be true. When people want to determine what to eat, they really need to look and understand themselves. Gender, age, culture are just a few of the factors that factor in, right? Gender, men and women eat differently. What works for women may not work for men. Again, there's a lot of hormones that play into effect here, different needs for different genders. People can become ill by having certain dietary choices forced or pursued onto them. One thing that's really detrimental for men, for example, is soy. Soy products are very, they cause a lot of estrogen issues. So men who tend to do a lot of soy, so men that might be trying to incorporate soy to get rid of dairy, so they might be eating a lot of tofu, or they might be eating soy milk or soy products or or soy tend to lower their testosterone levels, and they start to get man boobs and start to again, eating soy for men is very detrimental. So as far as health goes, and so that's one of the gender kind of issues that's pretty profound and pretty easily explained. So, but just like soy, there are a multitude of other foods that tend to be good for one gender and not good for another. So it's good to recognize those things. And again, one thing I always try to coach my clients with is, what I like to look at is, how do I look, how do I feel, and how do I perform? Like, those should be the three things that govern food choices, right? And how well we respond to certain foods. Again, how do I look, how do I feel, how do I perform? Age. People at different ages, people eat very differently at different ages. Consider the fuel you require to help determine your future. So again, what you're eating at 25 and what someone who's 50 or 70 might need is going to be very different. Again, the kinds of foods, the number of calories, where those foods are coming from, all those things. Age is another thing that requires some adjustment there, right? Culture. Everyone has genetic predisposition to eat the foods from the country where our ancestors grew up. What are your safe foods? What foods feed the body and the soul? And so that's kind of an interesting one that goes along with, where are your ancestors from? What are typical foods that your ancestors ate? Because those tend to be good foods for us, right? As their descendants, right? Because as part of the genetic code, they're passing down their evolutionary adaptations that they've made based on the diets that they've been eating over the years. And so you tend to do better when you eat according to your ancestry, right? Typical foods from, Italians do better with Italian food, and people who grew up, on farms and stuff, or a lot of dairies, usually not a problem. Those kind of things who come from ancestries of agricultural and those kind of things. So in today's world, we have such a melting pot of not just ethnic foods that are available. And, it's like when people were growing up prior, you kind of had to eat what was local in your area. You couldn't really, up here in Idaho, it would be really hard to be eating citrus fruit all the time, right? Like, but today I can walk down the grocery store and I can buy citrus fruits any time of the year and in any quantity or amount I want from all over the world, right? And we live in such a world where it's so different than it was, 50, 100, even just 100 years ago, which isn't that long in our, our ancestry or our lifespan or our evolution, right? It's a very short time span when we've had all of this food available to us from all over around the world, outside of our local area and outside of our seasonal, again, like, people used to have to eat certain foods at certain times of the year because that's when the harvest was, right? Like, in the spring, it'd be different foods than it was in summer, fall, winter. Like, there was a seasonality to foods. And right now, like, you can eat a tomato in the middle of winter, right? Which, again, before, you could never do that. And so it changes the way our bodies adapt to those things. And then when you add in, like, the processed foods and all the chemicals and everything else that our bodies are just not, they're not used to having, right? Our bodies don't recognize chemicals as food. Food is food, right? Food is what's found in nature. Food is something that, 100, 200 years ago, your great-great-grandmother would still recognize as food, right? It's a vegetable, it's a fruit, it's a piece of protein. It's not something out of a box or these Franken foods that are being made. So again, I may have strayed off the topic just a little bit here, but again, it's good to recognize, the foods that we have available today are from all over the world, right? And again, available to us at any time of the year. And so you might look into eating things that were naturally good for your ancestors, foods that come from that. And the other thing that we have today is we have such a mix of genetics, right? With culture and stuff. My kids, their genetic makeup is so different than mine, just because of Annalea's side of the family. Annalea, her family story's kind of neat in that her dad is like right out of the jungles of South America, right? He's very Native American, and her mom's side is very European, and so sometimes with her, she's a hard nut to crack when it comes to like what are the best foods for her, because her father's ancestry is very equator, a lot of starchy carbohydrates, those kind of things, quinoa, chia seed, those kind of things are native foods for that part of her family. Whereas, then she has the influence from Italy and Germany and that from her mother's side. And so my kids have kind of inherited, a lot of those same traits. When they did their DNA test, the girls came up like 25% Native American, and that's all grandpa, right? And so their microbiome is different than mine. Their predisposition for the foods are even different than mine as their father, right? And so it's kind of cool, but again, it just requires each of us to do a little bit of homework and not and recognize that we live in such a society where those things didn't happen just a few 100 years ago. It was hard for cultures to mix. It was hard for food supplies to mix. And today we have all of those things just available. We live in such a great time, right, where you can go down to the supermarket and again get fresh oranges or tomatoes or fresh fruit in the middle of winter when there's 4 feet of snow outside, and it's pretty awesome. But there could be some circumstances where we're allowing foods into our diet that maybe are not the best for us, and because of those same situations. So again, something to think about, something to work with within your own unique bio individuality, and to try to find what foods work best for you. Again, as we come off the diet and start moving forward in our pursuit for health and happiness. So cravings, your age, culture, and gender is also linked to cravings. Understand how to deconstruct cravings by experimenting with similar foods or building small amounts into your diet. And so again, this is just kind of just a few of the things that make us different with the foods that we need. And it's important to recognize that, just because one diet works well for your neighbor or your friend or even some distant family member does not mean that same diet's going to do really well for you. And again, I just encourage you to be your own best physician, right? To take control of your health, and to take an active role in going after those things that make you feel better, right? Make you look better, make you perform better. So one of the diets we'll talk about today is the vegetarian diet. And we'll just go through 10 benefits of vegetarian diet. Now, I eat plenty of meat, so but I think everybody should incorporate a lot of vegetables into their diet. Now, some people are going to do and perform much better being a traditional vegetarian. And again, some of the vegetarians eat fish, chicken, just no red meat. And then the other part of that is being a vegan, which they eat no animal products whatsoever. And so, you know, all of you, again, have to kind of find out what diet works best for you, right? You have everything from carnivores that don't eat anything but just meat to vegetarians or vegans that don't eat anything but plants, right? And so all of us find ourselves somewhere along this spectrum. But there are a lot of benefits from consuming a lot of vegetables. And so I just kind of want to, I like this slide. I like again, the education that comes with the benefits of vegetarianism. Again, I think it's important to recognize the health benefits that come through eating vegetables. And even if you continue to eat meat, like I do, you still need to go out of your way to get as many vegetables into your diet as possible. And so we'll just cover some of the benefits of being a vegetarian, because again, I think they apply across the line. So top 10 benefits of vegetarianism. A vegetarian diet has several benefits when properly balanced and nutrient dense. However, just because a diet is meat-free does not necessarily mean it is healthy. Benefits can be negated when a healthy lifestyle does not follow suit. In contrast, a diet containing meat is not always unhealthy. So again, just want to mention that everyone's unique, right? And you know, we'll get into blood typing a little bit, I'm sure, down the line, but type O blood type, they tend to need meat as part of their diet, right? It's kind of more of an ancient bloodline and kind of that warrior bloodline. And people who are type O blood types who go strictly vegan or vegetarian tend to struggle because they're not getting the meat that they need. It's kind of like a lion trying to survive on leaves and greens, right? A lioness isn't going to do very well eating vegetables. And in the same way, type O's are kind of that, like a lion, right? They need some of that meat to perform well. And type A's tend to do better on a vegetarian type diet. And for some of the reasons, they lack some of the digestive enzymes to really process meat really well. I'm type A, so again, do really well with vegetables. And when I eat meat, sometimes I need to supplement with a digestive enzyme in order to be able to process that really well. So, and we'll get into blood typing a little later, but I just want to use that as an example of why one particular diet, you know, if people who are type O go vegetarian, they might really struggle. And reverse, people who are type A who eat a lot of meat might really struggle because they're just not breaking down those meats like they should. So, okay, we'll keep moving forward here. Top 10 benefits of vegetarianism. For example, eating a salad isn't enough if you are sedentary, frequent enjoy high-fat junk foods, or smoking cigarettes. Consuming an adequate amount of calories and eating a variety of healthy food is just as important. On the following slides is a list of 10 health benefits one can obtain from a properly balanced vegetarian diet. Number 1, better mood. Research reveals information suggesting vegetarians may be happier than their meat-eating counterparts. fact, it was found that vegetarians had lower scores on depression tests and mood profiles when compared to fish and meat eaters. Disease fighting. When done right, lacto-vegetarian, lacto-ovo-vegetarian, or vegan diets are naturally low in total fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol, and have been shown to reduce heart disease risk. Epidemiologic data has shown vegetarians suffer less disease caused by a modern Western diet. Coronary heart disease, hypertension, obesity, type 2 diabetes, diet-related cancers, diverticulitis, constipation, gallstones, among several others. This can be attributed to a higher intake in fiber, phytonutrients, antioxidants, flavonoids, and carotenoids. Leaner figure. Vegetarians typically weigh less as a result of a diet comprised of fewer calories in the forms of grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, fruits, and vegetables. Less toxicity. Plant sources are safer than animal sources, particularly when consuming organic fruits and vegetables. Foodborne illnesses, antibiotics, bacteria, parasites, chemical toxins are more common in commercial meat, poultry, and seafood when compared with plants. Now again, I think with, even when you do meat, it's important to get grass-fed, grass-finished beef, fresh-caught seafood, free-range chickens, those kind of things. Like, really go out of your way to get healthy meats when you do eat the meat. And again, the same thing with the healthy fats, the saturated fats, those kind of things. I think there's a lot of benefit to eating healthy fats, but you got to get them from the right source, and they've got to be toxin-free. So, saving the planet, plant-based diet is better for the planet, as it requires less energy, farmland to feed a vegetarian. And again, there's going to be controversy to all of these things. And again, it's finding what works well for you as an individual. We'll cover other dietary theories. I don't want you to think I'm on just the vegetarian bandwagon, but there are a lot of benefits from eating vegetables. So, sight, vegetarians tend to have better vision and less macular degeneration. Money saving, plant foods tend to be less expensive, saving on overall costs. Better athletic performance. While most active individuals focus on protein intake, they should be advised that when done right, a high carbohydrate, low fat, and vitamin rich vegetarian diet may be optimal for sports performance. There's a lot of debate there, and I'm not necessarily in this camp, but again, some people are going to perform very, 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 very well on a vegetarian diet. Conflicting studies exist, but the number of world-class vegetarian athletes continue to rise. Supporting animal rights, whether a vegetarian diet is chosen for ethical reasons or not, animal welfare is improved. Longevity, vegetarians have been found to enjoy longer, healthier lives when compared to meat eaters. So again, these are some of the benefits of a vegetarian diet. So again, I think everyone's got to go find what works best for them, and do more of those things. So, top 3 positive psychological exercises. So, these are 3 things to help improve your moods. So, top 3 positive psychological exercises. Martin Seligman showed that people's top 3 exercises increase people's happiness levels, even when performed for just 1 week. People were able to spike their happiness level simply by doing the gratitude visit alone. We recommend that you try all 3 of these exercises. Notice how your actions affect your thinking. So number 1, 3 blessings. Before you go to bed, write down 3 good things that happened during the day. Then write down why each of them happened. So again, there's a lot of research going on, especially right now, over the benefits of gratitude, right? And how gratitude can kind of shut down your fight or flight response and turn on your restore nervous system response. So there's 2 kind of nervous system responses that we have going on. We have the parasympathetic, which is repair, recover, restore, right? And then we have the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight. And so, and we live in a society where the fight or flight tends to be on almost all the time because we live in such a stressful environment with work, with money, emails, Facebook, Instagram, just things that are always constantly demanding our attention, our time. Like our bodies are very stressed all the time. And so it's important to take time to like shut down the sympathetic nervous system and turn on the parasympathetic, right? And expressing gratitude is one of these exercises where it allows you to shut down that sympathetic nervous response and turn on the parasympathetic. And so that allows for a lot of healing, restoration, recovery, and can really change your mood, your happiness, those kind of things. Because again, it's lowering all those stress hormones, right? And it's lowering all the cortisol and all that, and increasing dopamine and serotonin and all those other good positive hormones. So gratitude goes a long way. Gratitude visit. Think of someone who has done something important for you whom you've never properly thanked. In a letter, write down exactly what they did for you and the specific positive changes that occurred in your life because of their actions. Take care to write specific details. Write and rewrite it multiple times. Polish the letter. Make it shine. Concentrate on presentation. Handwrite it or use calligraphy. You just kind of make it special. Use your own personal creativity. Meet with the person face to face and read the gratitude letter to them. This is a very powerful activity. Don't forget to bring tissues. The tears may flow. Again, this is a really powerful thing to do because whenever you serve other people, again, and especially when gratitude's involved, it's just a healing. It's gives you opportunity to make connection, right? Dopamine release with that as well. And it doesn't just improve your health and your happiness, but it gives to somebody else. And again, it goes back to those, I know we've talked about that. Whatever you want to receive, you should be giving, right? So if you want people to love you and be grateful for you, you should express those things to other people, right? Whatever you want to have in your life, give it out. So again, take some time to really think about somebody who's had a positive impact on you, and write them a letter, go take it to them and read it to them. One of the books I'm reading right now is called Warrior by Garrett White. I really like some of his stuff, and he has a similar thing every day where it's, just sending a text message to someone you love and just saying, I love, I honor, I respect you, I'm so grateful for you. This can be your wife, your child, your dad, your mom, a sibling, a friend, but just once a day, every day, just to express love, gratitude, appreciation for somebody. And again, that's been a great practice when I put that into effect. And again, it blesses your life, blesses other people's life. You're making those deposits into people's emotional bank accounts. Use your signature strengths in new ways. Review a list of 24 signature strengths. This again was just to go through and make a list of your strengths, 24 of them. Think of ways you already use them in your life. Brainstorm ways you can use these strengths even more. Write down specific ways you can use them. Commit to using your strengths in new ways this week. So again, all of us have the ability to make a positive change in the world. So I just encourage you to, get out there, use your strengths, find a way to serve, to love, to give gratitude, to have a positive impact on people's lives. And, just this morning, I got a sweet, sweet note from one of the members of the group. And, it was just so nice for me. I just, again, just have to thank you once again. I feel so good. I will be forever grateful to you for all you taught my husband and I. Many thanks to you. That meant a lot to me. And that's part of the reason I do this job. It's meaningful work for me to be able to interact with people and to be able to help them improve their health, improve their diet, help them improve their self-esteem, and to see people's changes. It's rewarding work. I love it, and it makes me happy. And so to get a thank you back, it goes a long way. So, and again, just to conclude, the golden path, step number 3, invest in your personal growth. Consider if entrepreneurship is right for you. Suit your personality to your success. Are you right for entrepreneurship? Staying motivated, mindset of constant focus on your goals, deciding moment to moment to move forward, creating momentum. Practice these steps to get you in the right mindset. When a fear or negative thought comes up, stop, recognize that the thought is there. Take a deep breath, notice how you feel. Check in with yourself. Notice that the thought only has power over you if you allow it. Ask yourself, do I know for sure that this thought is true, or what is the worst thing that can happen if I take this action? Focus on turning your negative thought around and choosing a different thought that causes you less anxiety or fear. Figure out how to keep your mind focused on your goals. Believe in yourself. Take step-by-step actions towards your goals. Don't let your fears hold you back. Keep practicing. Continue this process and trust yourself. So again, keep those negative thoughts out of your mind. Take some time to focus on other people, to give. Again, work on finding what diet works well for you, what foods make you feel, perform your best, and go out and make the world a better place. Love you guys. Hope you have a great week. We'll do Q&A again on Monday, another module on next Wednesday. So I hope everybody has a great week. If you have any questions, shoot them to me so we can get them on for Monday's meeting. So went a little long today, but again, I think there's some good information in here, and I hope you get something out of it. Thanks, guys. Love you.